Hotel History is created for adult audiences. Content may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. You're listening to Hotel History. We take you with us through the sordid history and scandals of some of the world's most famous and infamous hotels. I'm Dieta.
And I'm Yael. Let's get started. Here we are with another haunted episode.
Yes, more ghost stories from haunted hotels. Because it's fun.
Yeah. Well, tis the season. And I feel like everyone loves a good haunting. People like to be scared.
And we like that, the macabre. Like, we want to know the weird story behind it, the morbidity.
Why? It's so strange, but it's so fun. So today we're covering the Brown Palace Hotel and Spa in Denver, Colorado, which is part of the Historic Hotels of America.
This one goes all the way back to the 19th century. So this one has some history. Actually, the silver boom and the gold boom, because the gold boom was still going on, back in the 1880s, brought people out west to seek their fortunes. Some of them are heading to Colorado for silver. Some of them are continuing to California for the gold. So lots and lots of people are coming through Denver, heading towards the Rockies. And so a carpenter turned real estate entrepreneur took advantage of this. His name was Henry Cordes Brown, originally from Ohio, but he came to Denver in 1860 after a lot of adventures. He was a traveler. He'd been to California, Peru, Nebraska, and Missouri. One of those is more exotic than the others.
Yeah.
Although at the time, California was pretty exotic.
Yeah. Can you imagine what being a traveler back then was like? It's exotic now. I'm like, what did you do?
How did you get there? Like, how did you not die while you were there? How are you not a ghost haunting Peru? Yeah. So Brown purchased 160 acres of land, including a triangular plot at the corners of Broadway, Tremont, and 17th Street, where at the time he grazed his cow. But he made a name for himself by donating 10 acres of land for the state capitol building and giving $1,000 for the founding of the city's first library. So a bit of a philanthropist as well.
Yeah.
Then he made a fortune selling off the rest of that acreage in what would become downtown Denver. And then he decided that he was going to build a hotel because he was slighted at the Windsor Hotel, which was a very fancy schmancy luxury place. They turned him away because he was wearing his cowboy clothes. And he was like, I am richer than you are, and I'm going to build my own hotel.
Wow, that's a good revenge story.
He did. He built the Brown Palace, which ended up being like a very, very luxurious hotel that was, all of the celebrities of the day would stay at.
Notice he didn't just call it the Palace Hotel. He's like, oh, my name's going to be on there. It's the Brown Palace Hotel.
Oh, yeah. He began work on the palace in 1888, and he put it in that triangular plot. So I guess he had to move his cow, find somewhere else to graze it.
There's a lot of space in Colorado, for cows.
So it was designed in the Italian Renaissance style using Colorado red granite and Arizona sandstone for the building's exterior. Artist James Whitehouse was commissioned to create 26 medallions carved in stone, each depicting Colorado animals, and those can still be seen between the 7th floor windows on the hotel's exterior.
Oh.
For the interior, they designed it as an atrium lobby, which was one of the first hotels to ever be built with this design. Balconies rise 8 floors above the ground, surrounded by cast iron railings with ornate grillwork panels. And no one knows if this was done on purpose or not, but 2 of the grillwork panels were installed upside down, and they've kept them that way.
I would say that's an accident.
I think it was an accident, and they were like, they're all the way up there. Like, just leave it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, you can't tell unless you're looking really close, I think.
Yeah.
And, but it's beautiful.
They imported onyx from Mexico for the lobby, the Grand Salon, which is now called the Onyx Room, on the second floor, and the eighth floor ballroom. No wood was used for the floors and walls, which were instead made of hollow blocks of porous terracotta, which made this one of very few fireproof buildings in America at the time.
That's interesting because if there's a way to make a building fireproof, they should use it more often.
Yeah, it sounds like it wasn't that hard.
No, I mean
But
they said
I
they
bet it
got
was expensive though.
local material.
Yeah,
It sounds like.
I'm sure that wood must be cheaper than these materials, and that's why
Probably. Yeah. You can
buildings.
just go and cut down some trees, especially back then. Like,
Yeah.
no one cares. The Brown Palace opened on August 12th, 1892. All right. It's old, this place. Staff and guests have had many paranormal experiences. Some think the hotel's right triangular design is rooted in Masonic geometry, and the 720-foot deep artesian well at its center has led some to believe that the hotel was conceived as a spiritual portal. Like if you drop in the well, you go to hell.
Or the placement of the well inside this triangle calls forth spirits.
Guests and staff have mentioned lights turning off and on their own. Of course, classic ghost
Classic.
behavior. Some have noted that what appears to be something crawling from underneath the carpets, though none have been able to identify what exactly is lurking below. Okay, it's a rodent.
Is this like a Tremors situation?
Yeah.
Just zoop.
I love, you know what? I have a feeling they had rodents and the hotel was like, actually, it's a ghost.
Yeah, we
We're
don't know
very
what
clean.
that is.
We don't know what that is.
Pay us more money.
Numerous apparitions have been seen gliding from hallway to hallway in the palace. The Brown Palace Club has a more well-known ghost that likes to hang about the entrance. He's described as a man in a dark suit and a cap, like the attire of an old train conductor. If you approach him, he'll float down to the ground floor and into a corner where he'll disappear. When the hotel first opened, it was surrounded by shops and businesses, including the Rock Island Railroad ticket office. It was located right at the corner of where the apparition disappears. That explains it.
Ah, yes.
So, is it people who like love their jobs? I think
So
some
much.
ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
This
they
is like
just
who he was.
Can you imagine spending the afterlife just still being in your work uniform?
It sounds like hell.
That does.
Maybe they're in hell.
Yeah, that could maybe this is their purgatory.
Yeah.
Louise Crawford Hill was a known socialite in Denver. She would host parties and card games, inviting only a select number of Denver's wealthiest to partake. She lived in Suite 904 in the Brown Palace for the last 15 or so years of her life until she died in 1955. Hill had an infamous public affair in her 50s with a married polo player in his 20s that ended in heartbreak. She spent the last decade of her life in the room and became incredibly withdrawn. In the 2000s, the hotel began offering romance and scandal tours that mentioned her affair. Shortly after, the hotel's switchboard began receiving calls from room 904, but they would only hear static on the line. No one ever spoke. At the time, room 904 was being renovated and had had its phone line taken out. After the tour stopped mentioning the socialite's heartbreak, the calls stopped. So she was just like, hey, this is my business. Stop telling it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the hotel.
Oh, wow.
A hotel historian learned that there were similar incidents at Hill's Denver mansion, as police and the fire department would get calls from the house when they were under renovation. So she just didn't like people messing with her stuff.
No, I wouldn't either. See, I'd come back. I feel like phone calls are very common. Again, ghosts and electricity.
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on there.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the show on the PBS show Ghost Rider? Wouldn't that ghost like travel through the phone lines on the internet
Yes.
and like go into the computer and stuff?
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I remember it, but I like don't remember. I need
Ghost
to.
Rider.
Yeah.
I loved that show. It left us on a cliffhanger forever. The last season was a cliffhanger and then it didn't get renewed. So we have no idea what
That's
happened.
all the shows back in the
Yeah.
day. All my favorite shows were like, next season, it got canceled. I'm like, come on. And then I have to go online and read the fan fiction.
On GeoCities.
The hotel's dining room, once called the San Marco Room, would have flashy big brass bands to perform for guests as they ate. One of the more well-known bands were the San Marco Strings. That's cute. One night, an employee heard music coming from the dining room. He rushed down to see a band of 4 men playing away. The employee informed them that they weren't supposed to be in the dining room at this hour. One of the men replied, "Don't worry about us. We live here."
See, now that I love. I love that the musicians get to play their songs for eternity. That sounds like when you really loved your work, that would be.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends if they were good or bad people. I think that ghosts that have jobs that helped people or people that have jobs that help people will come back as ghosts that still want to do their jobs. Does
Oh,
that
yeah.
make sense? They're like social people.
Yeah.
Well, they're not people. They're ghosts.
They're social ghosts.
Social ghosts.
A smattering of reports have mentioned the apparition of a waiter by the service elevator, the ghosts of children running around hallways, and this one is a little weird, but I can see how it would be kind of disturbing. The sound of a baby crying in the boiler room.
Oh, no.
Like, why is it down there? Has it always been the boiler room?
Do they know?
No,
No.
they don't know
Is
why.
it a cat? Can we just assume it's a cat?
Yeah, oh, there, because cats do sound like babies.
I know they do.
Yeah.
Especially when they're in heat.
Yeah,
They
and a
sound like
cat,
crying
that
babies.
would be a warm place where a cat would go.
Okay, it's a cat, not a baby.
It's
I
totally a
refuse
cat,
to
guys.
believe
Don't worry,
it's a
guys.
baby.
We solved it.
Yeah, mystery solved. The Churchill Cigar Bar, where the hotel's founder, Henry C. Brown, had his office, is rumored to still have the ghost of the hotelier hanging around. A manager was sorting receipts one day when the sound system turned on and began to switch between channels and volumes, except the sound system wasn't actually powered up. So he yelled, "Henry, please, I'm trying to work here." And then the music stopped.
Oh,
So Henry listens,
yeah.
but he also wants to party.
But he wants you to know he's there. He's like, yo, you're in my
Yeah,
space.
well, he's just, I feel like you know what ghosts are? They're a little bit like socially unaware. Like they're slightly, they don't give a fuck anymore. I mean, when you reach that level of death, you're like, I'm going to do what I want. But you're also not a hater. You're like, all right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrupt. Yeah.
So now we come to the story that is probably one of the biggest sordid tales of the Brown Palace and probably accounts for some of the ghosts. I think some of the people involved in this story are definitely wandering the hallways of this building. The hotel made headlines in 1911 when a double homicide was committed on the property. Back in 1897, a man named John Wallace Springer, a lawyer from Illinois, and his wife, Eliza Clifton Hughes, moved to Colorado. Eliza was in poor health, and her doctor recommended the fresh air in the West. I love that was the cure for things. They're like, just go
But
breathe
it really helped.
better air.
Yeah. I mean, but there was like no regulation on pollution back
Yeah,
then. So it really
and
was
this is
better air.
Peak industrial revolution coal.
Yeah.
Working as secretary of the Continental Cattle Company, John Springer made a name for himself as a banker and stockman, rising to prominence in the social circles of early Denver and building a mansion on his cattle ranch south of town. His wife's poor health continued, and she died in May of 1904. Flash forward a few years, and Springer meets and falls in love with Isabel Patterson on a business trip to St. Louis. Isabel was about 20 years younger than John and currently married to another man, but that didn't stop them from marrying that same year, just 3 days after acquiring her divorce.
Oh my God.
He brought her to Denver to live in his mansion, which he named after her, Castle Isabel.
Isabel loved the nightlife, partying and entertaining. John did what he could to see that she was accepted into Denver social circles. To make it easier for her to entertain and attend social events in the city at night, he rented a suite for Isabel at the Brown Palace, where she would entertain quite often.
Interesting.
Okay. During this time, Isabel was having an affair with an old acquaintance from St. Louis named Sylvester Tony Von Fuel. Okay, that explains it. And wow, that's a lot of trust you're giving to your wife who's 20 years younger than you. Von Fuel was the son of a wealthy St. Louis family and an adrenaline junkie. He raced horses, piloted balloons, and wanted one of the Wright brothers' new flying machines. Is he friends with Howard Hughes? Not yet. Isabel and Tony wrote long, salacious letters to each other, sometimes multiple times a day. Oh my gosh, they were sexting.
Scandalous.
I want to read these letters. They often made trips to meet each other 32 miles from Denver in Idaho Springs without Mr. Springer's knowledge. Why would they go so far if they have the suite?
I don't know. I guess maybe because Springer could maybe come by the suite anytime he wanted because he's paying for it. But how would he not know that his wife is in 19 whatever? It's going to take a little effort to get 32 miles away. So what excuse is she making? Like, is she saying, oh, I want to go shopping in Idaho Springs?
Or I'll be back. I'm going to a spa.
Yeah.
By 1911, Isabel was ready to end the affair. Interesting.
Apparently, from some of the content of his letters, he sounded very like controlling and a little obsessive. So I think she was getting kind of tired of it.
Like Howard Hughes?
Yes.
There's something there.
There's something with aviators.
Yeah. But Von Fool as in he's a fool, I'm kidding. But Von Fool blackmailed her into continuing, threatening to send the letters she had written to her husband one by one until she left John. Oh my God. Wait. Imagine if they had photos. What is it called? Revenge porn? He's threatening her with revenge porn.
Yeah.
Because the letters are probably really graphic for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isabel asked Von Fool to take a trip to Denver and to visit her in her suite at the Brown Palace. Meanwhile, Isabel asked a business associate of her husband, Frank Henwood, to retrieve the letters. Henwood was possibly another of Isabel's lovers. Oh my God, this girl gets around. According to court documents, Henwood's maid said they got along famously well. Either they were lovers or that was her gay best friend.
Right. Frank agreed to confront Von Fool and attempted to reason with him, but Von Fool just took it as a challenge. After a couple of days of tense talks between them, Isabel asked Henwood to stand down, fearing that Von Fool's temper would get the better of him, after Von Fool reportedly pulled a gun on Henwood when they were discussing the matter in Von Fool's hotel room. According to the story, Henwood calmly walked toward the weapon aimed in his direction and called Von Fool's bluff. Von Fool had a reputation as a man with a temper, but Henwood considered anyone who carried a firearm to be a coward. However, the next day, Henwood visited a hardware store and purchased the first gun he ever owned in his life. So obviously he got a little rattled by the situation.
Yeah. Oh, so is he a coward too now?
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I've had a change of heart. I understand.
That is ballsy, though.
Yeah.
That is ballsy. Wow.
On May 24th, 1911, a crowd exited the Broadway Theater that once stood across the street from the Brown Palace after a show. Henwood and Von Fool both followed the flow of the crowd to the Marble Bar in the Brown Palace lobby. Henwood carried his new revolver in his coat pocket, thinking Von Fool would also be armed. Standing at the bar and surrounded by witnesses, Henwood made one last attempt to make Von Fool see reason. What was said between the two men is disputed, but witnesses agree Von Fool slapped Henwood hard enough to knock him to the ground. Henwood insisted as he hit the ground that Von Pfuhl was reaching inside the pocket of his coat where he had stored his gun when he had threatened Henwood previously. So in response, Henwood drew his own weapon and opened fire in self-defense. Von Pfuhl was struck twice. The bartender took a shot in the leg, and another bystander, George Copeland, was fatally wounded. Witnesses said that Henwood continued firing the empty revolver in a stunned daze until someone approached and took it from his hands. Von Pfuhl died of his wounds by noon the next day.
Wow. I mean, that's horrible, but also like he really thought that the guy was going to kill him first.
It sounds like emotions were on edge and he had been pushed to the limit.
Horrible. Henwood was not tried for the murder of Tony Von Pfuhl, but the unintentional killing of the bystander George Copeland. If he had been able to prove self-defense in the death of Von Pfuhl, then the death of Copeland would be ruled a result of negligence. By trying Henwood for Copeland's murder first, any arguments of self-defense were ruled irrelevant. Henwood was convicted of murder in the first degree. Yeah.
See, that's too, it should have been manslaughter. It should have been unintentional manslaughter, not first degree murder is supposed to be premeditated.
Yeah, that's true. And it was technically not premeditated with Henwood either, no?
No, yeah, it was supposed to just be self-defense. He thought Henwood was going to shoot him first. Or sorry, he thought Von Pfuhl was going to shoot him first.
Yeah. Given the high society bona fides of everyone involved, the story and subsequent trial were big news in the Denver area for months. I could imagine.
Yeah.
During this time, Henwood became something of a celebrity and was showered with bouquets of flowers and other gifts from admirers during his stay at the Denver jail. What's up with that?
I will never understand that.
Like, I don't think he's like a horrible, raging murderer, but like there is this, but anytime someone becomes really well known for something horrific or murder or whatever, they're fangirls. I mean, the whole...
Yeah, I don't get it. It's
very strange. He used his influence to secure a comfortable cell and specially prepared meals in a section of the jail known as Millionaire's Row. Okay. You know what this reminds me of? Have you seen Chicago?
Yes.
I feel like it was real corrupt back then.
Springer filed for divorce the day after the murders. Let's not forget this poor husband in all of this. I'm sure he was horrified by all of this. As part of the settlement, Isabel was allowed to keep the last name Springer, but was forbidden from ever returning to the city of Denver. So she was exiled. That's crazy.
Would she want to stay there? She probably was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Idaho Springs. Okay.
Right. She moved to the East Coast and attempted to make her career as a model and actress there, but unfortunately died of an opium addiction in 1917. She was buried without a headstone in Fairview, New Jersey.
I'm not surprised. She didn't sound like she made the best decisions. She probably also had a little bit of an adrenaline junkie personality. She's going after certain men and having affairs and marrying older men.
Yeah.
After their divorce, John attempted to erase any traces of Isabel from his life. On the marriage certificate to his next wife, Jeanette Elizabeth Moore, he attested to have no previous divorces and forever claimed status as a widower. To him, both of his previous wives would be considered dead.
Ooh, yikes. Henwood spent the rest of his life in prison. Fewer and fewer friends came to visit over time, and some described him as fading away. His bright smile and early charisma were long gone, replaced with a quiet resignation to his fate. Henwood never wavered from his claim that he had done what he did to save the marriage of two close friends. He died in prison in Canyon City in 1929 at the age of 53.
Yeah, he kind of got involved in something he didn't really need to. Do you think him and Isabel still had a relationship? Like a friendship, or at least?
I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
That's a very sad story. I bet at the time that was front page news for months and months.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's like the talk of the town.
Yeah. So I think that some of these people are probably visiting Brown Palace every now and again.
Do you think Von Fool or Henwood is really haunting the hotel? Who has like an axe to grind with that situation?
I think Isabel would be haunting it because I think she would go back to the place where it all fell apart. Like she had a really cushy life and she made some bad decisions and ruined the lives of so many people.
Seriously. Yeah. Copeland also, the bystander that got murdered probably. But I do blame the men for getting involved with this woman.
Absolutely. Like you guys have free will and you can say no. Say this ain't none of my business.
Okay. The Springer guy, I mean, come on. You fell for a woman 20 years, you were junior. And first of all, red flag. Red flag. We don't know what this guy looked like, but I'm assuming he wasn't like a stunner. So she's after your money. And then you gave her a suite in the nicest hotel around.
Yeah, so that she could entertain because your mansion was too far out of town for her to be a socialite.
Yeah. Also, the fact that she was very entertaining. Red flag number 5.
Yeah.
Like it's too many things where this man, I feel bad because he sounded like he really like just maybe was grieving his wife, fell for another woman, wanted to like, I don't know, just like love and be happy. And he had really bad taste.
Yeah. And it sounds like Isabel was very charismatic or alluring for all of these men to have.
That's true. Yeah. But I do feel you should not trust a man whose name is Tony Von Foll. It's Tony Von full of shit.
Thanks for listening to Hotel History. You can follow us on most social media platforms, Patreon, and Substack by searching for Hotel History or Hotel History Podcast. To connect or collaborate with us, check out our website at hotelhistorypodcast.com. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so we can reach more listeners.